Hello everyone, today we're here with some Spark exec members, which is a club on campus, and we're going to let them introduce themselves.
My name's Becca, I'm the president of Spark.
My name's Jara, I'm the vice president of Spark.
What exactly Spark is and when did you all start?
Spark stands for Student-Led Peer Advocacy for Healthy Relationships and Consent. And the position of the care office first started last year in the spring. So that's when everything started to get rolling with Spark, but we weren't an official organization until this fall.
Spark, who are you guys trying to target on campus? So, who would be your target market and,
Like who are you really trying to reach?
Yeah.
I would say everybody. There
Everybody?
really isn't anybody that we're not trying to reach. The point of our organization, club, whatever you want to call it, is to get the conversation started about really uncomfortable topics that a lot of people have trouble talking about, and so I would say that there isn't really a group that we're not trying to reach.
What's a group that you have been reaching lately, or what's the one that you've been reaching the most?
I would say probably first year students.
Yeah.
We got a lot of handouts to them during orientation, so I think I've heard the most about us. I would say that if you were to ask everyone at Hood, it would probably be first year students that would know the most. And I would say I know we had an event that was specifically geared towards athletics, but it did not go too well. So I would say mostly first year students.
How have you been advertising your group to the campus or different ways?
We try and use a wide range of advertisement techniques. We do social media. We're really active on our Instagram. We do flyers, send out emails, of course, and we have a lot of different promotion materials. So we have postcards that we hand out to all the first year students, and we have those at every event that we do. Those are probably the things that people take the most. And then we also have our I Ask buttons, and we gave those out to all the first year students, and we leave them out throughout the year too, so people can grab them. And that's just another way to get the image out there on campus.
So you mentioned that you guys have an Instagram. What are some examples of some posts that you normally do on Instagram?
We advertise for our events. We also post a lot of self-care stuff, because a part of this is working with survivors and victims and showing people that they're valued and they're worth something. So we want to have a positive message. We also post a lot of affirming stuff. We repost from a lot of other accounts that do similar material to what Spark stands for.
Can you go in a little bit more about some of the events on campus that you've held? Maybe the ones that did have a good turnout?
One of our really awesome events that we had was the Fries event. We also had a movie night that went pretty well. We had a coloring night that went really well. We did do, like I said, the athletics event. It did not go too well, but we're hoping that we'll plan it out better next year when we do it. It was just kind of we learned by doing.
So you mentioned that there was 200 people that came to that event, and then there were other events that had really good turnouts. Have you noticed increased engagement on campus with your club due to the marketing you guys have? So either social media posts or flyers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest attractor on campus is definitely food. So anytime we have something with food going on, that's definitely pulls out more people. But our coloring night, that wasn't really food based, and we still had 70 people come out, and that was with very little promotion too. So I think it's just a lot of finding not just ways to promote, but things that are going to engage people. And things that people are willing to come and spend their time out and do because everyone's so busy.
Ever reached out to another Hood social media page that has a bigger following than you?
Running at Hood, we've definitely reached out to them, and I think they've reposted and put stuff on their story for us. We're both involved in other Jared's a RA. I'm involved with HSMT, and so we do a lot of promotion through that. HSMT and Spark did a joint event, so we were able to promote in each other's accounts and get more followers through that.
Okay.
So have you guys ever thought to collab with another club on campus? I know you mentioned that you guys kind of collaborated with athletics. That one didn't work out so well, but what about the other clubs and stuff?
Yeah, we actually have done a few different joint events. We've done some stuff with FSU. We're trying to do a lot of work with other organizations since we are so new. And so far, I think we've done probably like 3 or 4 events with other groups.
I think the biggest one is that we did have a game set up for the Safe Sex Carnival. So that was like a big one that like, that's like one of the bigger events that we have on campus. And so we were involved in that. We were involved in it last year, but we didn't have the title of Spark at that time. So now that we do, it's kind of, it was really good for us to like be there and like representing and stuff.
It has a big commuter population, as you all know. Have you ever thought to specifically target this demographic, maybe to gain more recognition in like a whole other, body of students?
Yeah, one thing we've definitely looked at is like having different representatives. So we looked at having like freshman reps on our exec board. We also brought up the idea of having a commuter rep, just so that we can get more input. Because I know a lot of the issues with programming is like timing. So like finding times that work for commuters as well as residents.
Hello everyone, so we just met with Spark, and based off that meeting we created a marketing plan that would be useful for them to use. The timeline for this plan is essentially a year. The first step is goals. So number 1, goals to be achieved, and these goals are reaching as many students as possible and getting their educational message across about practicing healthy relationships and consent, how to take preventative measures, and how to deal with it when it's already happening.
The second step is to identify their target audience. The current target audience focusing on freshmen because those are the people, they're new to the campus, they're more likely to engage in these activities. We think they should push the focus more on to upperclassmen and off-campus students because these are the people that are harder to reach out to, and then really just get all Hood students involved.
The third step is focusing on social media. So before we even talk about social media, we should talk about establishing their tone. So since they're talking about touchy subjects, having an open and comfortable tone would really help them get their message across and allow students to feel comfortable reading and just following through on their social media posts. After talking about tone, we realized that Instagram is their only and current form of social media, which could work to their benefit because although they're still only active on one platform, it would allow them to really hone in on that platform and make it a very strong social media page instead of having multiple sources like Twitter and Facebook and then kind of having somewhat okay social media pages. So we believe that Instagram is the most compatible with their group and their message. Post visuals of their activities such as videos and pictures, and it allows them to go live, which helps their events and allows them to post relevant and educational information.
Since they already are doing a great job with their content, a few things that they could use to even improve upon off of that. They could do some social media takeovers from other Hood accounts who maybe have more exposure. Accounts like Happening at Hood or SGA will really get the word out more to the other students that are following those pages. They could also really keep on pushing advertising for contests, things that involve incentives, so that'll really drive students to get involved. They are on the right track as they have done things like this before, but their goal is to improve upon this, focusing on more engagement.
Talking about engagement, we're going to go into step 4, which is increase engagement. First, we're going to talk about making captions questions. So to do this, you would say, with a post, you would mention something and then ask a question and say comment down below any questions, which would allow students to answer the questions or make a statement with the information that they're giving the students. Also, another way to increase engagement would be asking Hood accounts to come to events and bring their group members and also cover those events on their social media. So it would allow other students that don't necessarily follow Spark's Instagram account to see their event and see all the fun that's being had at those events. Also asking friends to tag their followers and friends in posts, so maybe tag 3 friends and you could win a contest. That would be a really good way to increase their engagement. Another great way to increase engagement would be to create a business page. So by creating a business page, this gives insights to the business analytics, so they would be able to see what posts do really well on their Instagram and or videos, or what stuff doesn't really work, so they know moving forward what they should post and what they shouldn't post.
Step 5 would be in relation to their budget. So since every club has a budget at Hood, realistically they should focus on the incentives, since this is really what drives the student involvement, things like food and prizes.
Overall, Spark has done a really great job marketing and gaining exposure for their club.
If Spark was to implement these steps, it could broaden their reach, expand their target market, and get students to feel more comfortable talking about topics like sexual assault and consent.
Follow us on Instagram at @spark_at_hood.